I'm a trucker's daughter.
Okay.
So I grew up where the people that are just die for you are those people that you would, avoid in a dark alley.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Big, sweet, amazing hearts. My mom's the one inviting over the Hells Angels for Thanksgiving, right? Scaring our neighbors.
Yeah.
Micah.
Yes.
Okay, so group of your friends over there, I come over and you volunteer all your other friends. And then you're like, I'm boring.
Yeah.
But I have learned accosting people both with a video camera, but just me in the grocery store, people will be like, oh, I'm boring. And then I kind of dig in because I just love people.
Yeah.
And they're like, fascinating people. Okay, so what do you do? Let's start with that.
So I do marketing and admissions for a residential treatment program in Midway, Utah.
So how did you get into that line of work?
I'm a recovering addict.
So how did you get into addiction? What's the story? Just let's just pretend like there's not a video and we're just going in.
Totally fine. Yeah. So at a very young age, I started experimenting with different
what age?
drugs. I was 10.
10.
I started
See,
smoking pot.
that's important because parents don't think it's their young age of 21.
Yeah.
No, 10.
Yeah.
10 years old. And people are like, well, I'm not going to talk to my kids yet.
Yeah. You probably should.
Yeah.
Well, and I had a unique experience because my mom was a drug addict as well. And so very quickly after I started experimenting, I started using with my mother.
Family bonding.
Yeah. It was, my mom was the fun mom. She was the cool mom. It was,
I thought I was the fun, cool mom, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I learned active in addiction. So yeah.
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 So
Now, is this a single mom? Is dad in the picture?
single mom, never met
Okay.
my dad. Yeah. So single
Okay.
mom, 3
How many
kids.
three
I got
kids?
2 sisters. Yeah.
Okay. Are they in addiction too?
So one of my sisters and I are both in recovery with my mom. So we're, and then I've got one that kind of walks a tightrope.
That's graciously said. Yeah. You give them love.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you know what it's like to be there.
And she does well. I mean, she's not, she's just, I think we all have the gene. She's just been able to keep it under control.
So, who was the first person who decided or what to get into recovery?
When I was, got into some criminal activities at a pretty young age.
Like petty shoplifting or?
Stealing cars.
Oh, okay.
Stealing cars.
Bigger. I thought like stealing purses.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's
better
part of the
ROI with
story
a car.
too,
Yeah.
So at a pretty young age, I went to prison. So I've been to the state prison here in Utah 3 times. And then my 4th time,
So
when I was
at what
arrested.
age? Because it wasn't at 10. So you're in
18,
addiction.
Yeah, by the time
Were you in like juvie or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's sealed.
Been
So
to
that
every juvenile facility here in Utah that you
So
can
at
imagine.
18, you're in prison for the first time.
18, I go to prison. In and out of prison. My 3rd parole, I was, arrested with a gun and went to federal prison.
Wow.
And I've been out of prison for 10
18,
years now.
How long you were there?
8.5 years altogether.
8.5 years altogether. So from 18 to
28.
Sorry, math.
Yeah,
Woo.
right.
Right? Wow. So those are some amazing years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what was the main takeaway from that?
Truth be told, prison wasn't that hard. It wasn't. Yeah,
we don't want to.
sucked.
I mean, we don't want to be
It sucked,
torturing
yeah.
inmates because it's hopefully about not helping them to do better.
What I can tell you is that Hollywood is not true. About 4 years ago, luckily I have people that love me.
So how old were you? So 28, you're out
32.
of prison. So 32. So that was just kind of in limbo for those years.
Yeah.
So you got, what was that turning point at 32 to turn your life around?
I contemplated suicide. I ended up going to an ex-girlfriend's house, who is now my wife. I love you, babe. She didn't want me there, obviously, and I told her to call the cops and charge me with trespassing because I'd rather go to jail than get back out on the streets. I just hit.
It's safer.
As low below, yeah.
A little bit harder to get drugs. Little bit.
It was just. it was a better solution than me driving a car off a cliff at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
So
So do you have kids now?
I do now. Yeah.
Because you said babe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So we've been married for 3 years now. I've got a 2.5-year-old son. Yeah. I mean, life today. I don't know how I am where I am today, honestly. Sometimes I look back at
In the South, they go like
that.
this.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
You know?
And I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, you know, I had to really just re-identify myself, and I kind of refocus who I wanted to be, and it takes a lot of action, a lot of grit, and just getting after
like
it.
every day, right? Like every moment, every
Yeah.
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 Okay, so here's a question for you.
Okay.
You got your 2.5-year-old as a son. So the addiction gene, right? When are you going to start talking to him about this? When are you going to help inoculate your son from the path that the family's been in? How does that change the conversation to your kid?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as possible. Just, you know, I know that, you know, sometimes I see 10-year-olds and I'm like, man, I was getting high at that age. And so
Does it kind of like...
I think it just kind of changes the direction of my interaction with him and my involvement with his social life.
Well, being, you know, I haven't raised 21 children to have like a perfect case study.
Right.
But I always say that the parenting secret that I feel like's worked well for me is the communication.
Absolutely.
Is that, you know, when they're talking about Legos and you're like, I can't have another conversation about, you know, what Power Ranger, you know, those kinds.
Yeah.
Those conversations in time lead to, kids are passing out pills at school.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
loved what you said about the life you have now.
Yeah.
So to the Micah that's 10, to the Micah that was 28, wondering if it was even worth living a life,
Yeah.
what did you tell him now?
Keep going. It's all going to be worth it one day. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I think that, you know, going back and looking at my life, I think my experiences have created the man I am today, and I wouldn't take them back for the world, because I have the ability to, you know, to extend my hand and help when I can. So
I so love that, because
Yeah.
it is those hard things that make us who we are,
Yeah.
and it's not just about being a victim of them or just being a survivor.
Right.
But I call it being an advocate.
Yeah.
That when we've been there, we can lift others up to our equal.
Yeah.
But when we're looking down on people, we can't advocate for them.
Right.
We can't. I'm better than you. But
Yeah.
once we realize that too could be us, then we can advocate and lift them to because we're equals no matter what, right?
Yeah.
But we can to our equal level of being able to have abundance and opportunity and, you know, self joy and love.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I love it. Thank you so much, Micah.
You are so welcome.
See,
Thanks
you
for
weren't
having me.
boring.
Ah.
Not
I know.
boring at all.
I was joking.
And kids, don't do drugs, right?
Don't do drugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your parents love you. Stay in school.
And you know, it's said a lot, and that's why I laugh, but it's so true.